Hi, this is Dora Delalis with ThoughtsOnTheMoney.com. Welcome back to my vlog. With the holiday season approaching, I thought I'd address gift giving. Unable to contain my practical side, my suggestion for gifting to children this year should be buying them corporate stocks. So forget the useless toys and things that they outgrow that have no value, and hopefully those are things that you donate. But if you give a gift that gives back, you could buy them a dividend-paying corporate stock and provide them with something that will stay with them and that will appreciate in value. Your gift can extend past the holidays by educating them about stock investing throughout the year. If you plan small, ongoing lessons, you will help generate enthusiasm for investing. This could be the most valuable gift that you can give a child, as it will lay the foundation for their future wealth. So here are some of my ideas, and it's products and companies that kids are somewhat familiar with. McDonald's, Coke, Hershey Chocolate, Nike, Hasbro, Adidas, Netflix, Pepsi, or Starbucks. And I read a very interesting story. It's by David Bach, and it's in one of his financial advising books of how to get started in taking control of your finances. And he recollects this story about his first knowledge of stock ownership. His grandmother took him to McDonald's and told him that there are three types of people. The first are the buyers who visit and buy the food. The second type of people are the workers that take the orders and clean the kitchen and serve the food. Then there are the owners. Those are the people that own the business. And she recommended to him that he become an owner. So from that conversation, he had the beginning blocks of wealth accumulation. His grandmother taught him to buy assets that appreciate, not assets that depreciate. Recently, when I read the book Fast Lane Millionaire, I was impressed with one of the author's concepts. The author persuades the readers to develop a producer mentality, and that's a monumental shift in thinking. With all the marketing thrown at us, companies want us to become users and consumers, buying endlessly. When one thinks about being a producer and an owner, they interact differently with the world. So it's a powerful message. And this ties into understanding how businesses make money. So emphasize also the magic of dividend reinvesting and compounding. Earning dividends is effortless, and when the dividends buy more shares, it's a gift. The snowballing of this cycle over a long period of time is mind-blowing. For my dividend-paying stocks, I like to see how many shares are needed to generate a dividend to buy a full share or two instead of fractional shares. And it provides a challenge that could be turned into a fun game. Another idea is to understand and impress upon a child all the brands that a business owns. Not many people know that Kimberly-Clark owns the Scott, Cottonelle, and Kleenex brands. And the same with the Pepsi company. Pepsi owns many household names and brands that children are familiar with, and they don't know that they're all owned by the Pepsi Corporation. So that's a stock to develop these interests in with children, to help them develop enthusiasm and create a connection to the company as well. So if you create a challenge and make up a game, everyone loves a challenge. You could offer to contribute money to their account if they track a gain or loss update. You could also provide investment material. Take some books from the library and leave them around. Pay a dollar amount to invest for every section they read and give you a summary on. I wish someone in my family had done this for me, but back in the 60s and 70s, investment went as far as having a piggy bank or having a savings passbook. Remember the savings passbooks? Or maybe having a CD account. That was the extent of it. The mainstream household did not talk about owning stocks as a typical everyday conversation. I know it did occur in many households, but for the most part, it wasn't something that was an everyday topic, and we also didn't have the access to information that we have these days. So my parents were into real estate, but they didn't have the typical success story. I was too young to understand all the events that occurred, but it didn't work out very well. And it sometimes doesn't, okay? I own a condo, and we're not making millions off of it. We're basically breaking even right now. So this is an example, with my parents especially, of having a heavy investment into one or two properties. And, if there's some type of loss to be suffered, that's where, a huge chunk of the investment portfolio takes a downturn. And it could take many years to recover from that. And I think that's what happened with my family. As opposed to if you have a diversification of stocks in small amounts, where if one company suffers a loss in the value of the stock, it won't be a total loss of the portfolio. So it's also a lesson in asset diversification as well. So there are so many lessons by doing this, and I've read comments on the internet about people that aren't high wage earners, but they're still able to teach their children about investing by emphasizing that they buy small amounts of stock, and even on a small scale, it could make a huge difference in their wealth accumulation and in accumulating assets that they could have with them their whole life and have as a retirement nest egg. So your action plan could be to open up a custodial account and fund it with a few shares of their choice. And by taking those small actions and small lessons along the way, it's a good way to have a connection with a young person, give them some connection to companies and how companies work, and how this could stay with them their whole life. And as they get older, they see how it could help purchase their first new car or pay for their college education. For more stock ideas, look at my favorite title, which is the 100 Best Stocks to Buy. The latest one is in 2018. The 2019 version is probably going to be available very soon. And that's one of my favorites because it explains all of the backgrounds of the companies. And those are places where you could get ideas to discuss the aspects of the companies with children. So visit my site next week for a corporate stock investment education challenge. Please leave questions and comments on the thoughtsonthemoney.com website. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.